Oh, hey, sorry, I was just checking to see if we got any DMs on any of my social media sites. My name's Thomas Park, and I'm also used to be known as the drone band Mystified, but nobody listens to drone anymore. So I've been working on some pop material. So I'm really released a new album um, over the weekend. It was the third album this month that I've released, but this is by far, I think, this is really the one that's gonna push me over the top into popularity. I'm thinking this is really the one. It's called Real Music from Real Life Today. Anyway, this album, really came together this weekend. It was like, I started writing, and then it was just the pieces kept just like flowing, like from some weird, like maybe my pineal gland. I don't know. Obviously, I couldn't have consciously done that much music in that little time, and for it to be any good, I'm sure I was like tapped into something, some kind of, maybe it was the ghost of Prince or someone else. I don't know. I dig Prince. Prince didn't know who I was. You may realize that. I don't want to claim that he knew who I was. That's not fair. But in my opinion, anyone who could call themselves the artist, that's like a whole category that he controlled. So I learned a lot from Prince, actually. And one of the things I learned was when he died, he wasn't ready, because he had all this really great music and then some other music too, and it hadn't been released yet. And so he had all this music that was just sitting there, and no one knew what to do with it. I'm not entirely sure if he left a plan. So I'm like, in all honesty, when an idol of yours passes away suddenly, you think, if that happens to me, like it did to Prince, am I ready for what might happen? And so all those extra songs and energy and all those ideas, I really need to get them out. Now that I'm 51, it's time to revisit that sort of fire of creativity, invention. But anyway, on to the sort of the muse behind this one was we wanted to sort of do some really groundbreaking and new loops that were really kind of hip sounding, combining synthesizers, bass guitars, drums, and some backup sort of vocals here and there. And so these are really fresh loops, and the grooves are really hip, man and woman, and everybody between. All y'all. I respect all that. Anyway, so so we were really looking at some really new sounds, fresh pop and rock standard sounds in grooves that were looping, and they would go on for a few minutes. And so I would listen to these loops kind of playing, and I had various instruments, and I'd sort of accompany those by ear. So I've been really, like, my goal is to like listen better. Everybody says you should listen better, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. So I try to listen better when I sort of play along, and I'm really trying to sort of harmonize with what I hear. And we also brought in some new sounds in addition to the standard grooves with the combos with the guitar and bass and all. Sounds like this kalimba I bought, and the idea is we're going to meld world traditions with the American pop tradition. It hasn't really been done before this way. They've tried other things. They've done like Afrobeat, the Talking Heads, and they had Paul Simon, and he had the High Life. For me, this is just a very sort of humble gesture to combine really African, in all of Africa they have these everywhere. These are kalimbas. Everywhere you'll find them in Africa. They tell me that's true. That is true, yeah. And you could do these little melodies. And the idea was, each song would sort of have its own melody. And then that would sort of be added in and mixed, with the other more standard sounds. And so we have this American combo and this very sort of tribute to this world music. I want everyone all over the world to know about real music from real life today. This is a great, my mystified Bandcamp. But I did want to share that I'm very grateful for all the support from my ex-wife, who allowed me to record during certain hours of the day, at least, which is more than some people would have, in the spare room I'm renting in her home. Could have been worse. I've seen musicians playing on the street. People feel bad and give them money. They're like, that's terrible. Couldn't tell if that was her. Anyway, real songs from real life. It really doesn't mince words. It's uncompromising. It's deep. It really touches the heart of passion in the soul, and really, reaches out with great energy and establishes connections and holds one's attention all the way through. You could even loop it and it would just be even longer and more engaging that way in length. So anyway, real songs about real life. I want to thank all my fellow musicians online for listening to my music when I listen to theirs. And I want to thank all the listening services that I paid to listen to my music, and I did that too. Also, particularly all the critics for really deeply understanding my music, because it takes a lot to really figure it out. And I know it does. I know it's intimidating. I don't mean to drive people away. I guess I'm kind of like a modern day Frank Zappa, I got a lot of thoughts about music. My music is not paper thin. And sometimes people hear it, they just run away. They're not ready for it. But I say, whenever you're ready, come on back and check it out. So to you all, I say, come on back and check it out. Check out real music from real life today at mystifiedbandcamp.com. Thanks. Love you, Mom. Word to you.